Hello and welcome to the presentation Using Video and YouTube to Supercharge Your Website. My name is Navin Kulshreshtha. I'm the Director of Devi Studios. We are located in Orlando, Florida, specialize in websites, SEO, digital marketing, including video. So let's start with a story. So this is one of my clients. Her name is Edley Wallace. She used to own a yoga studio called Yoga Matrix, and she was actually in business for 14 years at a single location. She, typical of a small business owner, she was kind of overworked, burnt out a little bit, and then on top of all that, her landlord announced that the lease would be ending. So now she had no place for her business, and she didn't want to move, go through all the headaches and the hassles of relocating her business and starting over again. So around that time, I met her, and her idea was to create a virtual yoga studio on the internet. So it essentially became a membership website. She hired me to build it and to help her with video production for it as well. And now anyone from around the world can join her yoga studio. $25 a month, $200 a year. I'll show you what the website looks like. So here it is. Join the Lymphatic Yoga Online Studio. I can click on the Join button. And now I just have to pay $25 a month, $200 a year, and I get access to a full library of very high quality content, and I can follow the classes in the comfort of my own home. So this has worked out very well for her, and some of the benefits: low overhead, just have to pay for web hosting and some maintenance of the website. She has freedom and flexibility. She's not tied down by a physical location and rent and utilities and maintenance and all of those things. One of the great things is that she gets recurring monthly revenue. So predictable revenue every single month. And now, rather than just serving a small neighborhood in Orlando, Florida, she has a global reach. She can sign up clients and students from all over the world, and she's still doing what she loves. So things have worked out very well for her, and we combined video with a membership website. Now, in general, why is video so important? Well, it's everywhere. Right now, 60% of traffic on the web is video. People, especially younger audiences, I notice, are not reading as much. They like to watch and listen. They like music and graphics and movement and motion and things like that. Also, if you want to create a connection with potential clients, you can create a much better personal connection through video than you can through the written word. And so you are able to convey trust and authority and credibility. And if a picture is worth 1,000 words, then a video is worth 10,000. And this is especially the case when it comes to product demos, training videos, tutorials, and things like that. And one great thing, which is a recent development, is that you can produce videos on a very low budget these days, while before it was not possible to do it. So I call these the bad old days. And so back then everything was on film. You needed a film camera, you needed to buy film stock, which was very expensive. And this little contraption here, this is a Steenbeck film editing bay. So you needed to have this equipment in order to just edit your film. And it was extremely labor intensive, very clunky. And nowadays, all of this has been replaced with one simple device that almost all of us have in our pockets. That is a smartphone. You can record video, you can record audio, you can do your editing, and you can also upload directly to social media and other channels. Now, of course, in addition to a smartphone, we also have laptops and tablets and things like that. And you can take it as high as you want, but you don't have to have a lot of equipment. That's the key. Now YouTube, let's talk about why YouTube is so important. It's actually quite unique. It has 2 billion active monthly users, 1 billion hours of content per day are consumed on YouTube, and it's a lot more than just video. It is also a search engine. So it is a huge video platform, one of the largest in the world. But in addition to that, one thing that people don't know is that it is also the second largest search engine in the world. So if people have a problem or an issue, or if they need to solve something inside of their house or at work or in their cars, they will often go to YouTube and try to find a short little tutorial that answers their question. So it has also become a search engine. It's also a social media platform like Facebook or Twitter. YouTube is one of the largest social media platforms, so it combines all of these really interesting things, a search engine, a video platform, and a social media platform to make it truly unique on the internet today. And it is one of the best places to find an audience and to build a community. Now, one thing that I learned is that just because you make a video doesn't mean anyone will actually be able to find it or watch it. So we will be talking about that shortly. But I just looked this up and I thought it was very interesting. This is like the usage of social media platforms by adults in the United States. And I was actually quite surprised that YouTube was above Facebook. YouTube appears to be the #1 social media platform. These are percentage of US adults who say they use these platforms. So YouTube and Facebook are at the very top. Right below that would be Instagram and Pinterest, and then a couple of new ones on the scene would be TikTok right down here, and Nextdoor. Nextdoor is not really a video platform, but TikTok, of course, does have a lot of videos on it, but still nothing compared to YouTube, and the demographic for TikTok also tends to be much, much younger. So let's talk about getting started. Fortunately, the barrier to entry is quite low when it comes to a video. You can start with your mobile phone, or you can also start with your webcam. If you wanted to invest just a little bit of money, I would suggest investing in a good microphone. You can get one for, in the $100 range to boost the quality of your audio. That will make a big difference. And if you have another $100, then buy some lights. Some nice soft lights. You can get them off the internet for maybe another $100, and then you will actually have a very decent production value to produce your own videos in your home or an office or a simple studio. At some point, if you get serious with this and you want a larger investment, you can eventually buy like a more professional DSLR camera, lenses, and then you'll be spending, probably over $1,000 for that setup, but you don't need to invest that much money to get started. In fact, the most important thing is content. Content that is helpful, engaging, and interesting is the most important thing. And so here are some examples, in fact, of low-budget content that actually has a very high value and has produced a lot of value for both the creators of the videos and the audiences. So one of them I actually showed you already. This is a lymphatic yoga if I go to her video library. Now in the beginning we did produce some higher budget videos. We went to her yoga studio with cameras and lights. And multiple cameras, in fact, and a small crew. But then later on, especially around the time of COVID, she just started producing videos on her webcam at home. And we did buy her a microphone and some simple lights, but now most of the videos that she produces are simply Zoom webinars that she then records and then publishes to her website, and then people are able to pay for access to them. So that's worked out very well, and the level of overhead each month is not very much to pay for all of these things. Let's take a look at some other examples. We have Corey Ashton on YouTube. So I pulled up her channel right here. So she has about 50,000 subscribers, and she publishes tutorials mainly about WordPress, so WordPress websites. And she does screen capture, so she's just sitting at her computer and she shows people how to do things with their WordPress website, and she's built up a very good audience doing that. Then another person, his name is Living with Pixels. He does the same thing. These are mainly WordPress website tutorials. He does a screen recording and then he publishes to YouTube, and he's built up an audience of around 150,000 subscribers. So that's really good. And then of course these people, they follow him, they go to his website, and they purchase his products and services at some point. Now let's take a look at some higher budget content. So for example, here is Cinecom. Now Cinecom, they actually do this full time. They have a studio, they have a small full-time staff, and they are producing things at a much higher level. They have between 2 and 3 million subscribers, and if you watch their videos, they're full of special effects and graphics and motion graphics and all sorts of things like that. And I think they even use $50,000 cameras for a lot of their work. But of course, when they started off very simply, but now they've taken things to a very high level. And then I'll show you another example of kind of higher end content. And this is an insurance company, and it's different types of life insurance. So they created like a very, very informative motion graphic on different types of life insurance. So they do have somebody talking, and then in addition to that, they've created all sorts of really cool motion graphics. So they hired a graphic designer, then a video editor, they have music, they have all sorts of things. So of course, just to produce this one video, it was a pretty significant investment. But it has worked out for them because they've gotten over 500,000 views. And then of course, many of those viewers will go to their website and get a quote and perhaps buy insurance from them as well. So let's also talk about 3 of the main strategies you can use for your videos. 1 is solving a problem, 2 is educating, 3 is entertaining. So of the three strategies, number 3 is probably the most difficult. To be entertaining and funny all the time. It's probably much easier to solve a problem or to educate, especially if you're a professional of some sort. That means that you have specialized training. You've probably gotten an education. You have many, many years of professional experience. So as far as like your profession goes, you have a lot more knowledge and understanding than the average person. And if you share that with people, it will almost certainly help others. And one thing to avoid is perhaps not selling overtly. There are some exceptions, like maybe if you sell high-end real estate, and if you have like a $5 million home, it'd probably be a good idea to do like a tour or a sales video of your property. I have a client who sells million-dollar yachts, and his channel has actually worked out very well for him. And even after the boats are sold, people still love to watch his yacht videos and then call him up and hire him to do work. So let's see if I can bring him up. So here are examples of his videos. He does all of these yacht tours, and some of his top videos have received over 200,000 views, and they were produced 9 years ago. But guess what? People still love coming to the videos and watching them because they're beautiful and entertaining. They have really nice music, and people get taken away by watching these videos. Now what I recommend is that for a long-term strategy, it should be content driven. Now what that means is that your main purpose, your main goal is to produce high quality, relevant content that's going to help other people. You want to know who your audience is. You want to think about their problems, the issues, their desires, what types of things keep them up at night. Then you want to create specific targeted content that satisfies an urgent or pressing need. You want to deliver the content so that they can find it. Otherwise, what happens is that you produce videos that nobody watches. And of course, that can always be a little bit of a disappointment. Now, this is a long-term strategy, so it does require a commitment, patience, consistency, and it probably will not deliver immediate results. Here are some tools. Because what I mentioned before is you want to produce content that people are actually looking for. So I recommend starting off with a special tool called Auto Suggest, and this is in both Google and YouTube. So let me show you what that means. If I go to google.com and I can type in a topic here. So let's say I want to type in insurance. So what are the type of things, or maybe even types of insurance? So these are the types of things that people are looking for. Types of insurance: licenses, coverage, policy, plans. Let's say I typed in something like weight loss. So here with weight loss, what are people looking for? Well, they're looking for weight loss pills, injections, clinics, calculators, surgery, medications, shots. So if I had products or services or reviews or wrote articles on this topic, or did video reviews, or talked about the different types of weight loss pills that are on the market, and which ones are good, which ones are bad. People always love reviews and comparisons to help them make an informed decision. These are all topics for videos. I do a lot of WordPress websites. So what are people looking for? WordPress website builder, templates, designer, tutorials, examples, the cost. So maybe I could do a video or an article on the cost of a website, or a tutorial on how to build your own website, something like that. These are all topics and ideas. This is called auto-suggest. When you type in a topic, then Google is going to suggest a bunch of ideas based on what people are looking for. So that's why it's called auto-suggest. Now it's the same thing with YouTube. So if I go to YouTube, I can also go to the search box. I can type in a topic of some sort, and it's going to auto-suggest ideas for me. So let's see, I also do, so Premiere Pro, that's like an Adobe software. What are people looking for? They're looking for tutorials, transitions and effects, color correction. Downloads, they're looking for free downloads. Video editing. These are all ideas that I would use in one of my channels where I do video editing tutorials. These are all ideas that I could produce. I'll show you one other resource. This is called Answer the Public. So answerthepublic.com, and it's a similar idea. What you do is you type in a topic or a brand or a product. And so let's talk about video editing. And then you can click on the search button and it'll give you ideas on what people are looking for. Now you do have to create an account. It's free, but then it'll give you dozens and dozens of questions and inquiries that people are looking for on any topic that you can imagine. So you will get a wealth of ideas just from doing some simple things like this. Some video-specific tools that I use in my work: vidIQ and TubeBuddy. They'll also help you with a keyword research, coming up with titles, coming up with descriptions that will actually rank in search engines so people can find your content. So let's talk about a case study. And so I discovered this topic or phrase, new frames need analyzing, and it was actually from my own personal work and from my teaching. I noticed that when people are using this piece of software called Adobe Premiere Pro, it's video editing software, this error message kept coming up again and again. And it was quite annoying for people, and they wanted to know how to fix it. And so what I did, I was like, well, maybe I should do like a short little tutorial video on this topic. I posted it to YouTube, and I think it has over 150,000 views right now. So if I go into a search engine, new frames need analyzing, my video shows up at the very top. This is actually a link to my video on my website. This is the video on YouTube. So if I click through, you will notice that I have gotten 150,000 views on this video, because chances are if you're having the problem, if your students or clients are having a problem, then a lot of people might be having that same problem. So just by observing questions that come up in your work or issues that come up in your work, you can get lots of really good ideas. And so yes, I'm up to 150,000 views on this video. over 6 years. So it's helped out many, many people. And then many people have also clicked through, they've discovered this video. They click through to my website. So I have embedded a lot of my YouTube videos on my website. And in addition to the video embed, I have created a text-based step-by-step tutorial with all of the steps and sometimes with screenshots and with explanations and FAQs. So now I have really taken this video to a whole new level, embedded it onto my website, and I've done this with several of my video tutorials, and Google loves it. Now not only do I have a video, but I have all of this really valuable written content, which is also helpful. Some people like to watch videos, some people like to read. So now I have content for both audiences, and now I have this long form tutorial, and these video pages have literally brought in tens of thousands of people to my website. So the process is something like this. Is you research, first of all, you think about your audience, you figure out what type of problems they're having, you figure out what type of solutions would be helpful for them, you produce a video on the topic, post it on YouTube and social media where it starts getting views and likes and engagement. Go to your website, create a page or an article on your website, embed the video on the website, and then add additional helpful content. So typically that could just be like a written article or a written some writing about the topic. And then follow good SEO practices. SEO is search engine optimization, making sure that you have descriptive titles and descriptions and images. And then when you do this type of thing, you can start getting #1 keyword rankings, like I was able to do with this simple topic, new frames need analyzing. And that literally has brought in tens of thousands of people to my website and hundreds of thousands of people to my YouTube channel. It's maybe like a 2-minute video. That's about it. Another thing I do recommend is having some sort of business plan in mind, because videos do take a lot of time and effort. Even if you're not putting a lot of money into it, it will still take a lot of time. So you want to make sure that there's some sort of business plan in mind, and finding the right balance between giving away free content and then having some sort of paid conversion or some sort of purchase at the end of it. And so the way I do it is that somebody goes to YouTube, they discover my video, then they click through to my website. I give away like a free PDF of a tutorial or keyboard shortcuts, something simple, quick, and helpful. That way they get added to my email list, and then they start getting a useful and valuable email newsletter. Then at some point they sign up for my services, they buy my online courses, my books, etc. And so you can see that this is the videos don't just exist in isolation. They're part of a business plan, sometimes called a sales funnel as well, where you have a whole bunch of people, you have a huge audience, and then eventually you want a small percentage of those to become paying customers. And so you'll want to think about your strategy and how to work this out. Maybe if your website has a monthly subscription, then you can offer a free trial or something like that. So that is the end of the presentation. I hope you found it helpful. My name is Navin Kulshreshtha. If you want to read more about me or my business, it's devistudios.com, and feel free to email me with any questions, and I will see you in another presentation.